I'd like to welcome those who are present physically here, those who are watching us or will watch in archive to our Tuesday night prayer meeting with a thankfulness and gratefulness for this day, for these few days of this week, and for entire 2015. The study what we're going to have today, it's very vivid and it's so important to understand. We all have, without any exceptions, our lifestyle. We say, well, that's how I grew up. Sometimes we claim, as Spirit Prophet says, that when we don't want to change any of our habits that we should, which are harmful to others, we say, well, that's who am I, okay? We're just restating the fact that you are not willing to move. Some of the things we inherit from our parents, we grew up on that, like language, accent, the way how your mom or dad did, and you carry it through all your life. Some of them are good, don't take me wrong, but some of them are not. I'm looking at myself, and when I grew in my family, I was watching how my dad raised me and my siblings. And when I get married, I have my children. I say, wow, I have an opportunity to learn something from my dad and do not take some of his stuff that he was implementing in myself. I have a chance now to improve, at least to the best of my knowledge and the knowledge that I obtained from experience, from learning the Bible and Spirit Prophecy, other books, and I did. I believe that's not so unusual. You're not taking everything, you're imitating 100% your parents. You take some, but you bring your own stuff and you see the way how you think should go. Your lifestyle, how you should do, how you should eat, drink, walk, sleep, and so forth. How should you raise children? To be tough or to be more mild? Or that's all a very personal choice. But that's beside the point. I'm saying, I'm not blaming people who have differences. That's okay. We're going to study today, what is God's way? And should we be so, I shouldn't say stiff-necked, but so hard on our habits, or we should give the way and let the Holy Spirit mold and shape us as a Christian. When Jesus Christ talked to Nicodemus, he said, you must be born again. What does that mean? Forget about your background, who you are. Remember, last study we had, last Tuesday, we talked about Abraham and who are in reality really Abraham's children. Not those who are by blood Jews, but those who are by faith, who have a faith of Abraham. Those are truly Abraham's children. Because remember, Jesus made this rebuke to his listeners. They say, well, they say at least, we are children of Abraham. We've never been a slave to nobody. He said, well, if you would be a children of Abraham, you would do the work or the deeds what Abraham did. But you're just claiming, but you're not matching. You're not doing what Abraham did. That was his regret. Okay? And I already make some review. Last time we studied faith of Abraham, how it's important not just to state it and restate it all the time. I'm Seventh-day Adventist, I'm a Reformed Movement church member, and so that's great. But how about your life? Are you matching with that great title, or you just have a name? Okay. Let's begin our reading on page number 8. Page number 8, and okay, Fabio, you are the first one here. How about you read a couple sentences? Do you have a book? You don't. I'll give you mine. How about that? It's right here. Read up to here. Go ahead. Yeah. Yes. Unless.
Wait, which one? unique.
Unique life.
Just answer the problem. Good, thank you.
Unless you live a really unique life, your average day is filled with work and street and problems and conflicts. Instinctively, you and I know that we were designed to live in a better world where there are plenty of accomplished but never any sabotage, plenty of family, support and friendship, but never end heartbreak. Vibrant health without age of disease.
Well, of course, what Fabio read, that's like ideal. It's like where we're gonna find this place on this planet, at least, where there's no problem, no stress, no any difficulties in our life. There is no such a thing, because sin is, I mean, not the predominant sin is everywhere, in any domain of your life, even in your family, even unfortunately in Christian family as well. Sin is here, and we're fighting. I'm not saying we're giving up, but sometimes it's prevail. Okay, Sister Sandra, would you finish this one? Yes, we all would like.
You want me to finish that topic? Right?
Yes, please.
We all would like to envision a brighter outlook, but we still experience the reality of evil, chaos, and disappointment. We live in a world filled with miserable people trying very hard to pretend they are happy. We also know that we cannot look at the misery in our world for very long, or we will lose hope. And we desperately need hope to survive. So we complain about the weather and the incessant injustice we experience without looking very closely at any life of at why life is so hard. Sorry. At the same time, we humans cause the problems experienced in this world. Do a little thought experiment with me. Imagine if no one ever told another lie, misrepresented another fact, stole, hated, or killed again for the next 20 years of human history. Further, imagine that during those 20 years of good behavior, each person in the world was willing to cooperate with all the other people in the world who are now always decent. During these 20 years of peace, would the great problem of the world, such as disease and poverty, be as hard to resolve as they now are? Probably not, certainly not. Our behavior is the largest cause of all that is evil in our world today. Not even the evil with all his malice can keep up with that we do as his accomplices.
Let us stop blaming the devil for the evil in the world. He will always tempt us, but we are the ones who listen. Let us stop blaming our ancestors if the only problems we had were the ones we inherit. We would live much better life. Let us be honest enough to admit that most of the pain and suffering and hardship we experience in our daily lives is created by us, the very humans who share our planet right now. Which is why we must expose one of the great lies in our world for what it is, the cause of much of our daily suffering. That lie is wrapped in the word life lifestyle. That's what people say. Oh, this is my lifestyle. You read, sister, that phrase which kind of brought me up to one story that I remember. We live in a world filled with miserable people trying very hard to pretend they are happy. People pretending. They dress up such a way they at least they cover up their misery from inside. They drink alcohol, use drugs, kind of to kill, to numb their senses, because in reality they are miserable. The rich men, those who have money, celebrities, they're not happy as well. I'm not saying all, but they base what they say. I'm not making up stories. The money that didn't make them happy. They have several marriages and they couldn't hold on. Nothing. I remember real story was made in one of the zoo in big city, when there was a gorilla, the big monkey died, and the zookeepers, the staff really was concerned. They were concerned that nobody is to replace, and children kind of flocking to that cage to watch gorilla. And they post their advertisement in a newspaper. They hire someone to replace that animals. They made a suit. They dressed the man as a gorilla, and he was walking through the cage and entertaining children, okay? And children were happy. One day, by mistake, he got in the wrong cage. And he realized some rat is lying down in the corner. It was apparently a lion. He began to yell, to scream, "Help! Help!" And that lion talked back to him, said, "Keep quiet, otherwise we both lose our jobs." People are pretending. That lion also was fake. Also fake. Brethren, I'm so sorry when we as a Christian, we are pretending that we are good. Then read Revelation chapter 3, verses 15, 16, and 17. In reality, we are miserable, naked, and blind. Let's keep reading. We'll find more interesting facts. Luis, would you mind to read the one paragraph and your mom finish the rest?
What is lifestyle? Now, it is not the word lifestyle that is dangerous, for that word is merely a way to describe a particular way of living. According to Merriam-Webster, lifestyle is a reference to choices we make that are not based on nutrition or necessity or engineering, limitations or laws of physics. It consists of choices based on the colors and textures and flavors we personally prefer. A way of living when we are affluent enough to choose between different ways to live. Lifestyle is the experience of the middle class and the rich. The poor can't afford to pay attention to that word.
Very good. Sister Victoria, would you continue, please, all the way to the end?
Here is where the danger lies. Lifestyle describes a way of living without identifying any moral qualities to those choices. In a crude way, we could describe the famed life of Bonnie and Clyde, with their string of robberies and murders, are just a lifestyle. The Palestinian leadership that recruits and arms suicides bombers while living safely away from the destruction they foment, are living a particular way A serial murderer lives a particular way. Someone addicted to pornography lives a particular way. Someone who habitually lies or habitually gossips lives a particular way. These are harsh and no doubt extreme example of lifestyle, but they illustrate the point that a lifestyle is not necessarily harmless or particular way of living affects the people around us. When we have lifestyle choices that are harmful, we exhibit a particular way of living destructively.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, children, question for you. Okay, you are four of you here. What is the lifestyle based on what we just read now? Give me some of the one each. Yes, David.
A way to live?
Well, that's general. Yes, it's a general statement. Okay, give me some specific. What makes your lifestyle?
The lifestyle is like the way how you choose to live.
Your choices. Okay, what else? Can we break down choices? Give me some. I'm looking for details. What was just right here? Fabio?
Lifestyle is
What makes you? Go ahead.
the things that make you happy.
Not necessary. Some people are miserable having that lifestyle. I'm looking for specific, I would say, qualifications of what makes your lifestyle, okay? What identifies your lifestyle?
I know I can answer your question. A lifestyle, for example, a homeless. There are some homeless, they could find a job and change their life, but they choose to. They like to sleep under the bridges. They like to go and beg and.
Okay. Anyone else? What makes identifies your choices or makes your lifestyle or gives you name or character who you are? Yes, sister.
The children was studied this in the last lessons. Is
Very
that
good.
repetitive actions.
Okay, repetitive actions.
That's make your lifestyle.
Okay, thank you. Louise, what else?
Habits.
Habits. Good. Anyone else? It's, yes, Jill.
Actions.
Action. Yes, action comes from habits, okay? Yeah, look, the way how you eat, the way how you drink, what you eat, what you drink, what you watch, how you talk, your temper, all those things, the texture, the flavor, what you like, salty, sweet, and so forth, sour, all that makes your lifestyle. Associations with whom you want to hang around, all that shows what car you like to drive, what dress you like to wear, what gadgets you want to have. All these shows you what places you like to visit, how faithfully you come to church, or you not come at all, you are just a visitor. All these things proves or shows or proves your lifestyle. At least identify. Let me put this down. I believe that's the right way to put it. Anyone else? Yes, Sister Teresa.
I was just thinking about what my Nana used to tell me when I was a child. She said, you have a choice, and you can make your life good, or you can make your life miserable. So, God gives us choices to live accordingly, or not to live accordingly.
How about this? Well, if I would be born in another family, but I was born in a poor family, I was born in that country, if I would be born here or there, I would. Somebody is dreaming to come to immigrate to another country, thinking that will make them happy. or if I would get married to that girl, I would be happiest person or so. Brethren, it's very shaky ground for happiness. Yes.
Can we go, I just want to go back a little bit on the other part where it says, our behavior is the largest cause of all that is evil in our world today. Not even the devil with all his malice can keep up with what we do as his accomplices. Now,
We overdo devil?
you know, I can remember when my dad used to say, you know, you too bad for the devil. You know, the devil wouldn't even want to be bothered with me.
I believe so.
You know what
I
I'm
believe
saying?
so, yes.
And you know, it's how we carry, you know, life itself, the things that we do. You know, that makes us, you know, it makes the world evil, or it could make it a good place. Either way.
We like to blame someone or something for our faults. A little boy like Fabio, or maybe like Luis David, was living not that far from the river. And his mom told him, his name was John. He said, Johnny, do not go to swim by yourself. Sure enough, he was here for a while, and after he went to swim. When his mom found him at the river, she asked him, Johnny, I told you do not go. Yes, mommy, but I was tempted. She said, how come that you had your swimming suit with you? Well, I just took just in case if I would be tempted, then I would use it. It's a child way to explain things, too simple. But that's exactly what happened in our life. We already, in our mind, we engineering our ways, and we're just looking for a nice cover-up, how to cover up the story. Oh, I'm divorcing my wife because she's so and so and so and so. But you kind of keep in shade your part of the story. What did you do to destroy that family? Or all the way around. It doesn't matter which way you go. So we're good for excuses. Let's move on. Sister Teresa, would you take that one, the good side of the coin?
The good side of the coin. Now, the word lifestyle does not necessarily refer to living dangerously. Jesus lived courageously in the face of death threats and hostility. He loved righteousness and hated iniquity. His peace in the midst of war was a lifestyle, an honorable one. His decency in the face of antagonism and hatred was a lifestyle, a holy one. Esther the queen had a particular way of living in her palace. She also had a particular way of living when she faced the danger approaching her fellow Jews by coming out of the closet rather than avoiding conflict while her people were killed. Daniel had a particular way of life as an official statesman in Babylon. He also had a way of living that told the truth to Belshazzar and to Nebuchadnezzar when he could have been killed by both. He had a way of living a life of prayer when he was the highest official serving the king or the highest creature in the lion's den. Joseph had a particular way of life as the assistant of Pharaoh in Egypt. He also had a way of living that was kind to his brothers when they sold him as a slave and when he was powerful enough to make them all slaves.
Lifestyle can be positive side. Children, question for you. I just really want you to be part of this service. Tell me, what did Daniel do, or what he didn't do that his so-called colleagues could not caught him in something? My question is too complicated. Okay. They say we could not find in him something. You know, those are the princes who were also governing in a government position. They say we could not find anything in Daniel except this. Help me. What in specifically, Luis and David?
Prayer.
prayer, yeah, was as a result. Yeah, David.
His constant worship to God this morning.
Yes, Fabio, what do you think? No? Joel Jr.? I'm talking about Daniel. What did he do so special that his friends didn't like him? And they didn't know how to get rid of him.
He prayed every morning, every evening.
That's correct.
Every afternoon.
That's correct.
3 days and
3 times a day. Okay, Fabio, some thoughts?
His friends really didn't like him because he was the best one in doing everything.
He was the best one, that's why they didn't like him. But they want to knock him down, but they didn't know how. Yes, David?
Because he believed in God.
Well, yeah, we already said that. They say, yes, Sister Sandra.
Yes, especially that what the Bible mentioned is they couldn't find nothing in him but except the only way they can bring him, how can I say, they can affect him was in the law of God.
Yeah, and the way how he worship his God. That's the only how they can caught him. That's why they build up their plan around that one. They knew that he will never change, and they set up the trap right there. Good. Thank you all, children, and not only children. Let's move on. Brother Brendan and Alex, can you share that one? If you can, 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs, and Alex will take the rest.
Making Christian choices. Our way of living, our choice of lifestyle reveals character. When we are wealthy enough to buy a car, do we buy one that is focused? We are wealthy enough. Do we buy one that is focused? Well, this is written by Tobias. When we are, do we buy one that is focused only on demonstrating our own achievement, or one that is pleasant to look at, safe to drive, and serves others well as ourselves? When we can afford a house, have we purchased one with a consideration for how we can benefit others as well as meet our own needs? Or is our house a way to glorify and pamper our own egos and bodies? Do we dress ourselves as a courtesy to others, or as a way of looking to gain other people's attention and focus it on ourselves? Character matters immensely. For the last 6 millennia at least, Satan has sought to compete with Jesus. He wants the power and influence of Jesus, and in this world he has had power and influence. But that power and influence have hurt us all. The devil has rejected the character of Jesus. Jesus came to our world without political power and without worldly influence. People ask themselves whether any good could ever come from his family and from his hometown of Nazareth. Jesus had no army or administration. His only servants slowed him down rather than helped him. He did not have a house or car or prestige or trophies. Everything he achieved was achieved by character. 2,000 years later, we are still benefiting from his character. Even people that do not value Jesus as the face of God value his words that we should love those that hurt us. Satan has to keep lying to us every day for us to keep following him. What? Jesus spoke, and 2,000 years later we are still thankful for his character. I think that's supposed to be a lowercase h. I would hope so.
Okay, thank you. Alex, please.
Our current civilization has abandoned the value of character. Many of those who have chosen to abandon the value of character have done so as a way to hide from their defects of character. Changing the standard of character, changing the definition of morality, is a way of lying to ourselves that we are all right, even though our conscience reminds us that we are at least mildly destructive to our relationships and our surroundings. All of us are sinners, and sin is destruction. Therefore, to be a sinner is to be destructive. But we cannot end this summary of the concept of lifestyle for the Christian without considering the opposite danger in the word lifestyle. This danger is the desire to control everyone else's lifestyle, and therefore their life, realizing that lifestyle can be harmful. Some people undertake to seek control of all lifestyle choices. To use extreme cases again, certain Anabaptist church legislate that black-colored cars are not harmful, but yellow and red-colored cars are destructive. In their particular congregation, one can only own a black-colored car or be thrown out of the church, which is not a great problem, unless your favorite color is yellow or red. Yet, to these men and women, the lifestyle choice of purchasing a red car rather than a black one is of a greater moral significance.
Thank you. Making Christian choices. We're all buying stuff, no? You can buy a car that suits you, serve your family, your own needs and someone else, or you can buy a fancy car, get down in debts and pay for years and kind of limit yourself in many other things. You lessen offerings just because you have high payments. The same thing applies to house, to clothes, to any other things. Question always needs to be asked, back to be asked, why are you doing what you're doing? Just because my neighbor have? In the state of Oregon, there's a big Slavic church, and I heard the pastor comment about conversation. And one brother from the church bought a hammer, the big car Hummer. And he asked him, the pastor asked him, why did you buy it? I mean, why do you need it? The explanation was very unique. He said, look, we have plenty Mercedes here, we have Lexus, but nobody has a Hummer. That's why I choose to buy it.
Are you saying Hummer?
Hummer.
Oh, okay. That thing looked like a Jeep.
Yes, yes, the big monster.
Big one, yes.
Yes.
Hummer.
And that was the explanation. I don't know if it's how real that could be. I mean, it is real, but how justifiable can be that explanation? You shouldn't buy things just to be different from others. You definitely should choose something that matches your shape of your body, maybe color that you prefer, some black, some like red, yellow. That's fine. That shouldn't be a principle as long as it in a Christian manner and you do not spend much money. And then Joy, she make this statement. Although some clothes could be fashion, but if it's decent and fits the moral standard, nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't run away just because it's on a trend today. You shouldn't buy. That's the wrong concept, brother. We have to have a common sense, and may the Holy Spirit always be our advisor. Any thoughts before we move to the last one? Sister Victoria, do you have them? I said you. No? Okay, what is the role of the church? George, would you mind to take 1, 2, 3, and Brother Joel would read, it was also an opposition.
I'll pass.
Oh, you don't have glasses?
No, I do, but
you can.
I read my life as well.
Okay, go ahead, George.
Does God give to His church the responsibility and right to determine what is right and wrong in a lifestyle? Are His people to create definition of morality? No. God has never given to any man or woman or a group of men or women the duty or privilege to determine right and wrong. God is the only authority on morality. Human teaching is shut out. There is no place for tradition, for men's theories and conclusions, or for church legislation. No laws ordained by ecclesiastical authority are included in the commission. None of these are Christ's servants to teach. The law and the prophets, with the record of His own words and deeds, are the treasure committed to the disciples to be given to the world. Christ's name is their watchword, their badge of distinction, their bond of union, the authority for their course of action, and the source of their source. Nothing that does not bear His superscription is to be recognized in His kingdom. But the church
needs to express the truth of Christ as applied to our current circumstances. In the 1800s, certain styles of clothing were fashionable. It was customary to use strings and other methods to reduce the size of a woman's waist. Seventh-day Adventists spoke out against this particular form of dress as nonsensical and oppressive. They were not opposed to the development of colors and increasing complexity of clothing made possible by the Industrial Revolution per se. Rather, they opposed a particular way of dressing that harmed the health of the particular woman who used it. They opposed the mindset of a man who asked a lady to destroy her own health and use her to look pretty. This was not an attempt to govern all clothes. It was principled opposition to clothing that weakened health and shortened life.
Okay, I'd like to stop and give David a chance to read because I don't think he read today. One paragraph in mine will finish, or two paragraphs in mine will finish the last.
It was also in opposition to pretending to be richer than you were. These corsets were not the clothes of farm life, but were being adopted in mass as farm. Families tried to appear wealthier. As a small business, families tried to show off their new wealth. The point was not only to be sensible and healthy while looking good. It was also to resist the pressure of conformity to richer people. It was a rejection of symbols of middle class affluence when those symbols interfered with healthy decency and ultimately heaven. The church does not have the authority to ordain what is a good lifestyle in the place of God. But the church is required by God to speak out about what he calls a good lifestyle and to warn those who are practicing destructive lifestyles on the danger of their self-destruction.
Okay, thank you.
The work of the church is not to force people into a good lifestyle, but to remove our word. But to remind our world of the Lamb of God who loves each one of us. It is to declare that Jesus offered his power to change our desires from harmful lifestyle to healthy ones. It is to tell of that power of God to create in us a love for a lifestyle of obedience to him that is available to anyone at any time that he or she honestly and persistently prays for it.
Very good. Romans 12:2, and be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by renewing our mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Romans 12:2. Be not conformed. In other words, don't imitate, don't follow just because of the world. My question for all of us here, does church has any influence on its members? Up to what extent? It says the church is, at least in this statement here, that's why I want to talk a little bit more about it. Church has no authority to force. What is the limit? Where is the boundary for a church? Sorry? Principle of faith. Okay. If somebody is not living according to principle, what would then church obliged to do?
Reinforce the law.
Reinforce. Okay.
Keep warning. That's what he said. You warn the church have to warning those who are in that danger position.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Yes.
As it was saying, it says, but the church needs to express the truth of Christ as applied to our current circumstances.
Any other thoughts before I say what I have to say? Yes, brother.
The church is Spirit of prophecy says the church is the appointed agency for the salvation of souls. So it's the church's duty to not just to warn and discipline, yes, of course, but even before that, to do everything to bring that person back and to win them as a soul first.
Good. That's why we have Matthew 18, no? 15, 16, and 17. Talk one-on-one, 2, and then talk to the public. Otherwise, you will be a gossiper and destroyer of someone's reputation, which is breaking the 9th commandment. My point is here, brethren, once the persons walk through this door, what do? We're showing by our example, and we're educating person. Maybe educating is a little bit harsh word, but that's what it is, okay? We're teaching, we're preaching, we're admonishing a person, because he or she who walks in, they have their own ways of things. I know many people who walk, and later on I see some metamorphosis happens with their dress, makeups, and many other things, which is in a good sense. Some never change. Okay? The church has a responsibility to educate people. And once they are ready to make a pledge to live according to this principle, as we heard today from the brethren, then we baptize people. Because if you will rush to baptize someone who walked for once or 2 times or 3, even 10, 15 times, that would be too fast, it's not productive, and tomorrow that person never changed their lifestyle, and they still keep doing what they've been doing, and the reproach comes upon the church, okay? This is their responsibility. First, church is teaching, and taking a person to another level doesn't mean the person should stop learning. Yes, that ongoing process. But once a person pledges to follow and live according to this principle, the church has the authority to implement the discipline if he or she would derive for some or another reason. Of course, it's a complicated subject, but lifestyle, all of us, without any exceptions, who came here, no matter where you come from, what your background, we have to change our lifestyle, my dear brethren. And we are in the process every single day. This is, the Bible calls it sanctification. That tomorrow you should be better than today, and day after tomorrow look better than tomorrow. Any thoughts? Kind of straightforward this reading, and I thank you all. Especially I'm thankful to children, those who read and those who make comments. We'll be asking you every single time when you ask. From now on, just keep your ear open. I can assure. We will not let you sleep. May God bless you all. Amen.